3.2 million new business applications. That's how many Americans filed in the first 6 months of 2026. It's the highest number in history. And the headlines are calling it a golden age. Most of those businesses won't exist in 2 years. And the reason they fail isn't what you think. The numbers are staggering. 3.2 million business applications in 6 months. The Census Bureau just confirmed it. This is the highest January to June total since they started tracking business formations. And we're not even done with the year. Last year, 5.7 million new businesses were created. The SBA says we're on track to blow through that record by the end of 2026. And it's not just mom and pop shops. Global venture capital hit $510 billion in the first half of this year, the highest half-year raise in history. This is genuinely the biggest startup wave America has ever seen. 22% of new businesses don't make it past year one. Roughly a third are gone within 2 years. Nearly half don't survive 5 years. We're not talking about a niche industry or people who didn't try hard enough. We're talking about coin flip odds. For everyone. Do the math on 3.2 million applications. If the pattern holds, more than 700,000 of those businesses close within 12 months. That's not a rounding error. That's an entire generation of founders who thought they were riding a wave and ended up as a statistic. Most people think businesses fail because the idea was bad. That's the story we tell ourselves. They just didn't have a good enough concept. That's not what the data says. The number one reason businesses shut down is simple. They run out of money before the idea has time to work. Not a bad product, not lazy founders, cash, full stop. When the headlines are screaming record startup boom and never been a better time to start a company, the fear of missing out kicks in hard. People quit their jobs before they have customers. They lease office space before they have revenue. They raise money, or try to, and spend it on things that feel productive but don't actually move the business forward. Busy work. It feels like progress because it's comfortable. Ordering business cards for a company with 0 customers? Comfortable. Spending 3 hours picking a font for the logo? Feels official. Actually messaging a stranger and asking them to pay you for something that doesn't exist yet? That's uncomfortable. If a task doesn't involve talking to a real person, who might say no, it's probably busy work wearing a costume. Entrepreneurs who kept their day jobs while building their business had 33% lower odds of failure than those who quit. That's from research out of the University of Wisconsin. The founders who gave themselves a runway, who didn't bet everything on day one, were significantly more likely to still be around years later. The boom is real, but the boom doesn't protect you from bad decisions. If anything, it makes bad decisions feel smarter than they are. If 3.2 million people are starting businesses right now, and roughly a third of them won't make it 2 years, what are the ones who survive doing differently? 3 things, not theory. Actual patterns from the data. 1. The founders who survive sell before they build. Before the website is perfect, before the logo exists, before the LLC paperwork is even dry. Picture 2 people with the same idea. A meal prep service for busy parents. One spends 3 weeks building a website and a menu. The other spends 3 days texting 20 parents in her neighborhood. Would you pay $60 a week for this? I'll deliver Sunday. She gets 8 yeses before she's cooked a single meal. That's the pattern researchers keep finding when they study which businesses make it. They find someone with a problem, they propose a solution, and they ask for money. Not in 6 months. This week. Most first-time founders do the opposite. They build for months in isolation, then put it out into the world and discover nobody wants what they made. The surviving founders don't build in the dark. They validate in public. 2. They treat cash like oxygen. The businesses that make it past year 2, and this is consistent across every industry, don't spend money the way startups in movies spend money. No office, no hiring spree, no growth at all costs mentality. They run lean because they understand that time is their real asset, and cash buys time. 3. They adjust. Confidence doesn't come before action. It comes after action. The founders who survive aren't the ones who had it all figured out on day one. They're the ones who launched something, discovered it was wrong, and pivoted instead of quitting. They treat their first idea as a hypothesis, not an identity. There's never been more information, more tools, more examples of what works and what doesn't. The playbooks exist. Most people just don't read them before they start playing. Not, should I start a business right now? But, if I start one right now, am I doing it the way people who survive do it, or the way people who become a statistic do it? The record breaking startup boom isn't a reason to rush. It's a reason to be more careful, not less. When everyone else is quitting their jobs on a dream, the person who keeps their income validates their idea with real customers and builds methodically. That person isn't being cautious. They're being smart. They're playing a different game than everyone else in the room, and it's the only game where the odds are actually in their favor. If this framework clicked for you, that surviving isn't about hustle, but about giving your business enough time to actually work, do this before the video ends. Go to the comments and tell me, what's one business expense you've been considering that you could probably delay by 6 months? Office space? Software subscriptions? Quitting your job? Drop it below. Naming the thing is the first step to not doing the thing. And if you want more frameworks like this, the real data-backed stuff that actually moves the needle, make sure you're subscribed. Stick around, because this channel is built entirely around the things nobody tells you before you start. 3.2 million business applications. A record, the biggest startup wave in American history. Some of those businesses are going to change industries. Some are going to create generational wealth. Some are going to employ thousands of people. And some, hundreds of thousands of them, are going to close before they ever really got started. Not because the founders didn't want it badly enough, not because the ideas weren't good, but because nobody pulled them aside before they started and told them the truth. The businesses that make it aren't the ones with the best idea in the room. They're the ones who gave themselves enough time to find out if the idea was right. The headlines will keep talking about the boom. You need to care about what happens after the boom. If you're watching this, you're probably already one of the people who's going to start something. You've got the itch. You've been thinking about it. Maybe you've already filed the paperwork. The boom is real. The opportunity is real. But the survival math doesn't care about headlines. It cares about whether you gave your business enough time to figure out what it actually is. Don't become a statistic because you moved too fast. Become the exception because you moved smart. I'll see you in the next one.